The Mummy Man is live and in effect on the free-to-play. So I thought I'd go over what I did, how I built it today. Welcome on the DeadwoodJedi Raid Shadow Legends video on the free-to-play. Today we're looking at my clan boss team. I finally built it. The Mummy Man, the unkillable team, and it's glorious. It's great. It makes life so much easier. It's easy to run and actually fixed a couple of flaws that I did in my first video. In my first video, you might have noticed that, there's a couple different setups for Nightmare and Ultra Nightmare. Well, when I was actually putting the tune, when I was typing it out on the website and stuff, I realized that just one extra speed on Maneater made it so I didn't have to do any gear changes, and I also didn't have to do any setup changes. Works perfectly. On top of that, you don't have to use Rathalos on Ultra Nightmare if you don't want to. On Nightmare, you do. But on Ultra Nightmare, you can use any DPS in that slot and it will still work, which is pretty awesome, I think. In any case, though, this is a very fun team, and I feel like I built it out pretty well. I've been running it on Nightmare for a couple days now. It's been going really good. Obviously Haikatoon is here for the speed. We've got Geomancer with the HP burn. We got Rathalos. They're basically just to, do as much damage as possible. Maneater for the unkillable, also going to keep us affinity friendly. And then Caffrey is just so great for dealing with the stun. He has the taunt and the unkillable, which means the stun won't kill him, and the taunt will make sure that it always goes to him. This is what keeps it affinity friendly. I never have to worry about stun targeting with this team, which is, I think, glorious. So very excited about this team. Been very happy with the results so far on Nightmare, and now I kind of want to see what we can do on Ultra Nightmare. So before we get into that, might as well talk about the builds a little bit. Right now, I still have Rathalos in my Life Drinker set. Now, this is where the free-to-play and a more advanced level account are gonna we're gonna see some friction here. And how do we build these champions? I use Rathalos everywhere, literally everywhere. And one of the reasons why I like this team is I can keep Rathalos at a decent speed, 174 speed. Now, of course, for clan boss, for an unkillable team, all I really need to do is build damage. But obviously I'm using him in other areas, whether that's Hydra or Doom Tower or any of the dungeons in this game. So I've been a little hesitant to take him out of the lifesteal set. This is something I do want to remove at some point to really fully maximize his potential. I'd like to build him with more attack if possible. I mean, he's got attack chest and he's got attack boots, pretty close to what I need. But also crit rate gloves. I'd love to move him into crit damage gloves if I can. But I don't know that I quite have the gear yet, but we're getting to that point. Once I get a really good gear setup for him, that is a move I make, and you'll see a huge damage jump in my clan boss team, and hopefully it won't sacrifice his survivability too much in any of the other areas of the game. But that is something I have to pay attention to. Can he survive when we're doing other things, right? My arena teams, for example, are pretty slow. I need him to kind of heal up sometimes. If I take him out of lifesteal, that'll be a lot harder. We also have Geomancer. Now, Geo, I have built for clan boss build, right? One, he's going a little slower than I'd like, 164 speed. Not horrible, but it's definitely slower than I'd want him to be. For every other piece of content, I just need to build Geo tanky, right? His whole thing is reflecting damage. I don't really need him to do raw damage. But for clan boss, obviously, the more attack I can put on him, the more damage he does. And so I built him in that vein. Is this something I want to do long term? I'm not sure. Probably not. Probably I would switch him to more of a sustain build, more HP, more defense, maybe even like a stalwart set to help him survive. Those are things I'm actively thinking about doing with him, thinking about changing for him, but I'm not at that point yet. But it is something I'm keeping in mind as a possibility. So, as that's probably my next step, is to not build him quite so much damage, let his passive do that work, but instead build him more to survive, to help me with other areas of the game. This is the hard part when you have champions that are being used in multiple spots. Speaking of which, I also have Maneater here. Now, actually in Doom Tower right now, I'm stuck on Scarab, and one of the reasons why is Maneater is really helpful for stealing turn meter. Well, you'll notice I have no accuracy on him, basically. This is something I would like to rectify in the future. Now, obviously, I don't need the decreased attack debuff that he has on his A1. Don't need it, right? It's not something I need, but I would still like to build him with accuracy so I can steal turn meter with his A2. And this is something I don't have to do right now, but at some point along the way, I'm going to want to try and swap my build out a little bit to adjust for that. If I can do that, that'll be great. Of course, the speeds we're going at, I can't be picky at. He's like 288 speed, so I'm kind of stuck with wherever he is right now, but long term, that's probably something I'm looking to do. After I've just tried to build as great as I can. Now, great thing, he's a defensive based champion, so his survivability and his damage, they're tied together. I don't have to worry about it. So that's what I've done. I've got him with crit rate gloves. He's got 95% crit rate, which is fine, I think, especially at this level. And it's just about leveling up his gear as much as I can. He doesn't land debuffs. It's all just about survivability with him. And then, of course, then I have High Katoon. Everybody else is at least 6 stars with War Master. High Katoon, I did level up his gloves, so he's got crit rate gloves. He's got 100% crit rate here. I currently don't have any range in the Barbarian faction, so there's nothing there. But the idea here with High Katoon, we have the Toxic set, but she's going so slow. I'm just building her for Clan Boss. I'm never going to be able to utilize her anywhere else outside of Faction Wars, maybe. So I can really go ham and just build her with as much damage as possible for Clan Boss. And that's my team. That's my 5, and I think they're going to work out pretty good. So I'm excited. So here we go. Let's jump in. I mean, you guys can see the delays that we have on this. All this, by the way, is on the website. You can look up the Mummy Man on the website. I'll have a link in the description down below. It's a really fun little team there. And even if this isn't the team you want to build, you know, there's a lot of other teams. So I do recommend going to the website, checking a lot of them out. If you haven't already, you're missing out. But we can see the setups as we go through this here. Basically, it's just a 1 turn delay for pretty much everybody. And Kafru, because I haven't finished the cooldowns on this A2. It's the only book missing on him. But this is kind of the perfect way to book him, I think. So if you're going to use him for Clan Boss, because now I can actually prioritize that A2 and his A3. They're both on 4 turn cooldown. So it's fine, whichever one I prioritize. I've prioritized the A2, then the A3 will come after. And that's exactly what we want for the minimal amount of setup possible. So as we jump in here, it's a real simple start, real easy setup, right? I'm basically going to let it run auto for this whole first turn and for half of the second turn, right? Clan Boss goes. Now you're going to see Geo finally take the turn. There goes Manir. There goes High Katoon. I interrupt the auto. I'm just going to A1 here with Kafru, and then it's going to work perfectly. He'll use his A2 next and the A3 right before the stun. It's exactly what we want. So it's all set up and ready to go, and we're going to be right in sync as soon as this turn ends, and we'll be able to flow right from this. So hopefully we'll be able to get enough, you know, debuffs from Geo. Obviously not 100% chance to land the HP burn. Doesn't have all his books on a 5 turn cooldown. Still, like I said, does not have all his books, which is the big issue for us. That's a huge damage reduction, right? Rathalos does more damage with HP burn out there because we can't keep it up 100%. Rathalos is doing a lot less damage. So, you know, one of the things long term I want to do, and one of the things I've been doing with all these tournaments and events, is I'm targeting epic skill books and I'm just dumping them into Geo, hoping to get that cooldown back down to a 3 turn ability, which would be clutch for us. Rathalos, obviously, I can, you know, we talked about rebuilding them. So when I rebuild Rathalos, when I get Geo more books, this team is going to really start to sing. I'm real curious what kind of damage we do here on Ultra Nightmare. On Nightmare, we've been doing around 30 million, which is pretty good. That's kind of the max we've done, right? Usually like 28, 29. I'm hopeful we're going to be in a similar range here on Ultra Nightmare. If we can, that means we're in 3 key status already. And then when we improve stuff, we can move into that 2 key range. Just getting High Katoon to 6 star, getting High Katoon War Master will do wonders for our damage. That's probably another 2-3 million damage just off of that. If I could put somebody else in a Toxic set, that would add a lot of damage as well. But the biggest thing is just going to be getting those cooldowns from Geo down. That probably is the biggest thing I can do to up the damage on this team. So anyway, we're gonna let this run. We'll come back at, you know, right before the end here, see what kind of damage we put up. Okay, 27 million's not bad. That is firmly in 3 key territory, and we're really only about 8 million away from 2 key territory. I figure you add another, what, 2-3 million to Haikatoon. I mean, look at Caffrey did 2.2, right? Caffrey only has, like, he's getting 3 attacks in, just like Haikatoon would. Haikatoon probably a little bit less, so I don't know, maybe add 2 million damage, right? Haikatoon's getting some from the toxic set, so maybe add 2 million. Guess it's right by 30. And then with Geomancer and Rathalos, if I can level them up, I think definitely we would be in 2 key territory pretty firmly, which is pretty awesome for a free-to-play account, I would say. So good result in my mind. So day 73, we definitely got it, right on the edge of a 2 key Ultra Nightmare team. We're gonna get a couple more books, 3 more books before the end of day 90 here, some more shards. There's always more things coming down the pipe. But right now, I think, we've kind of solved the clan boss part of it, which is pretty awesome. So if we can finish clan boss, that's a pretty big step forward. The next thing is really the missions, and I'm still struggling. I don't do arena as much as a lot of the other guys, so we're still here on the affinity bonus thing, but we are on the way to getting Arbiter. We're on what I believe is the last path to it, so we're not that far away, right? So this is something that I think, I don't know if we can do it before day 90, because I think one of these Great Hall bonuses we got to get up even higher. This is about as good as I'm doing, right? So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit of time for me, but we are on that path, right? We're making our way there, and I feel pretty good about that. So I think Doom Tower is gonna be really big for us. I think that's probably the next big thing I start to focus on is Doom Tower, and probably leveling up the rest of my champions, right? It's gonna be getting books whenever possible. Whatever tournament it happens to be in. I spent a lot of time in Ice Golem, even though I don't like doing it, just to get this epic book. Really the only focus I had there. I did the same thing in the Dragon tournament. Obviously the speed gear was great, but I really wanted that epic book. And so every time I have an opportunity to get an epic book, that's going to be my focus. Outside of that, I think it's just leveling up champions. I've only got, I think, 7 right now, level 60 champions, right? 6-star. I guess we got 9 now. Oh, we've got 9 6-star champions. I'm feeling pretty fancy. But after that, we're gonna be leveling up Haikatoon, Sandlash Survivor, because I have a 5-star soul for Sandlash. Definitely on the list. I just got Ilfring. I think Ilfring actually could be really good for arena for us. Kind of bring some fun stuff with a turn meter boost and increased attack. I mean, not a great champion, but fits a role. And probably Fodboard just for Fire Knight, maybe even Runic Warder, right? So I've got a few champions, and I don't even know what I have in my vault. I have other stuff in my vault, right? Other champions that are worth leveling, including some revivers. So right now, I think our big focus is just getting more food, getting more 5-stars, getting more 6-stars, ranking them up, leveling them up to use. Obviously, I'm hoping for a no-brainer to come along at some point here. We're always going to be trying to get better gear and stuff, but trying to keep that focus of let's finish the missions, get Arbiter, let's do our best to get Geomancer fully booked, and those 2 things should do wonders for us. So anyway, that's the goal right now. Feel really good. The fact that we got clan boss kind of on lock feels really nice. So we're just going to keep leveling that up, keep ranking it up, and hopefully we'll get somewhere good. So anyways, that's what we got for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.